So I have now talked about every single Forza game that was on the Xbox. I've done a look back on Forza Motorsport 1 all the way through to Motorsport 7. I've done a look back on FH1, FH2, and FH3, and have done a few reviews on Horizon 5. Now, that only remains is Forza Horizon 4. And, well, this is an interesting one. From a game that started off, actually, I really enjoyed the game when it started off, and then it was absolutely murdered. This game was Gordon Bennett. It tanked. It really did tank. Alright, lads and lasses, I'm Eccentric Racer, and yep, I'm doing a look back on Forza Horizon 4, the last Forza I really need to look at. No, I'm not looking at Forza Street. Well, what can I say about this game? From a game that really started off being one of my favourite Horizons, I really did think early on that it was actually a pretty good game. It then massively tanked. Also, I've just realised that bonnet is going to annoy me and other people with OCD. Right, okay, I'm going to not use the Ferrari. God damn it, I thought that was actually a solid looking livery. Right, I'm going Porsche. Hopefully that has a much nicer looking livery. Yeah, there we go. Right, okay, so FH4, do not get me wrong, this has done a few things right, and it's done a lot of things wrong. We'll start off with the positives. The festival playlist in this game was really well done. It was brilliant. I forget 50% on Cosmo. I haven't got one, but I can't be bothered. Yeah, it was good. As you can see, early on, I played a hell of a lot of... Well, obviously, it only tracks CV7, but, I played this game quite a lot. I did almost everything to try and get the cars, because it was absolutely fantastic. You did have to play a lot of the game to then unlock all of the stuff. I mean, obviously, there was the free Forza edition, so of course I wanted it. But, I did want all this stuff, and the cars that hadn't were quite fun. And then obviously I started playing a little bit more. I then started liking the game less and less, and then it was about here. Where is it? Series 36, well, 35 basically. I quit. So I basically quit this game in May last year. But yeah, do not get me wrong, the Forzathon playlist was actually good. You did a bunch of challenges to unlock cars, exclusive cars were in here and whatnot, blah 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 blah. Obviously, seasons was a big thing in this. The main one really being winter, because everything gets covered in snow. Which I did quite like winter in this game, to be honest. It did make the game look very pretty, winter. And it did add actually an interesting challenge to all the tracks. So, now that I've talked a little about the festival playlist, it's actually really good. We'll talk about the cars. It's a good car list, this. This is a very, very good car list. 752 cars is a hell of a lot. Not only for Forza game for Horizon game in general, but for Forza in general. This is only beaten out by Motorsport 7, where that had 830 cars. And all of these are basically, track weapons and your regular production cars, and there's a lot. I mean, obviously Alfa Romeo's a thing in this. There are a hell of a lot of cars. Obviously, we had the Horizon edition, the Forza editions in this. Yeah, the car list was absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at more of the Aston Martins. Not so much in the classic ones. We have lost a few there, but can't have everything. But we had a lot of older British cars: Austin 7, the Taxis, Austin's Healey's, the Sprite, Bentley Turbo R was in this. That was a really cool addition. I did like that. I'm trying to think, where else did they add that wasn't in anything that I cannot remember. But there was a lot of older British cars being added, and then quite a lot of modern cars as well. I mean, obviously here, well, not classic British, but classic cars as well. Citroen DS23. You start to see here sort of the quality of the car list of what we was left with, and why I was so annoyed at FH5 when we launched the 530. Concerned a lot. There was so many cars here, and they really should have. I wouldn't be too good if, we sort of had like 600 ish to sort of start us off. We had majority of the car list, but not all of it. I wouldn't have as much of an issue with the FH5 car list. Um, there is that obviously GMC Cyclone, the Typhoon was in this. That was really great to see the Typhoon back. Obviously Cyclone we had in FH3 and then disappeared for a while. Human Imp, that was a DLC car. The DLC in this game, some of it was from older stuff. However, a lot of it was actually pretty damn good. NSXR GT made a return. The older S2000 made a return. As you saw a little bit earlier, there was the Human Imp. So more classic British cars. Yeah, so it was a pretty damn good DLC. Obviously, all that stuff I'm not interested in because I'm not buying the Hot Wheels DLC because I'm not playing the game. Yeah, it's seriously good. Look at all these Jags and C-Type, D-Type, XKR, regular XJ220. Yeah, it is seriously good. And then so we've got James Bond stuff, the DB10. Yeah, you get the picture. The card list in this was absolutely stunning. You could just really see the quality that is behind it, obviously including Lancia. Yeah, really, really good stuff. And really, there's sort of something for everyone. A lot of hypercars, supercars, and then some estates, and obviously, like I said, we had the Horizon editions and whatnot. DLC was pretty good. It had a MG midget in this, for instance. Morgan Aero GT. Yeah, you get the picture. A lot of Morris cars. I can't really go on about it much more because it was just great. It really was just a great car list. So yeah, that's enough of that. Reynolds as well was actually really good in this. So the other thing as well is that I will admit, this game, it does look gorgeous. It really does look gorgeous, this game. Oh Christ. I'm playing this on the Series X. I'm not playing this on the Xbox One anymore, so things are going to look even crisper and run even smoother. I can see the quality improvement on here compared to when I used to do stuff on FH4 when I was just on the regular Xbox One. It does look a lot better, and not to say that the game was ever ugly. It wasn't. It was a damn good looking game. You've seen a lot of screenshots of people probably pointing out the little minor details on this, or like stickers in the car's boots and bonnets and whatnot. It was all absolutely incredible stuff. The attention to detail was improved. Cars were a little bit more detailed. Yeah, sure, they weren't the most accurate models in the world, but Forza's never had a repertoire of having incredibly accurate the most accurate models in the world, especially on a hell of a lot of cars. So yeah, there is that. Now, of course, one of the big problems that everyone did feel was the basically the engine sounds on this. Some cars sounded alright, but a lot of them just sounded flat. A lot of them really was flat, which they were improved in FH5, but which is good. They should have been improved. But now that everyone's played FH5 and then compared to FH4, yeah, you can definitely see the improvement of the engine sounds. The handling model, I'll get onto that now. It took me long enough. Is one that I do think it's good, but I have my issues with it. Now, it could just be because I've never been the greatest at Horizon. I definitely am a hell of a lot better at motorsport, at Forza Motorsport, than I am at Horizon games. I've always just found the handling in this to be inconsistent, shall we say. I have found it to be pretty inconsistent in that off-road. I'm not going to do that on my Porsche. I think, it could just be... Why isn't it... Oh yeah, because my left bumper's a little bit knackered, isn't it? Now, I have been on this a little bit, obviously, just to remind myself of it. Yeah, streamer mode, that automatically turns itself off when you leave the game, which is absolutely stupid. It should never do that. Absolutely never do that. I don't know why it did. It's just absolutely stupid, and, definitely glad that they fixed that for FH5. Because obviously I've been copyright claimed a few times because I forget to turn stream mode off again when... on again, sorry, when I obviously play the game, reboot the game, and then it turns itself off. So, you know, that was really, really silly. But yeah, the handling I just found inconsistent at the best of times. I could drive the same car, and I would just have massively different experiences with it. The other main problem with the map, with the game, sorry, because I've already just spoiled it, was the map. It is not a good map in this. Hopefully that work-ish. Trying to fix my left bumper. Yeah, the map in this was awful. This was a awful, awful map. A lot of it comes down to two things. The atmosphere was bland. Yeah, sure. You had the main festival area. So obviously there's a lot of sort of life in and around the festival area. You can see all the tents. There's crowd cheering. There's music playing and whatnot. And then as soon as you leave the festival site, it is then just your average daily commute, shall we say. It just feels like you're just driving. Yeah. There was nothing festival-y about it. And another thing is, I just found all the roads in this just to be naff. Really, really naff. There's not really a road that I would just want to drive down constantly. I mean, the best road was really here, Glenmanach, all the way down to Ambleside. That's the only one bit of good road in this game, if you ask me. Everything else, there was nothing really here. Speaking of that, we may as well talk about the tracks. I do quite like the tracks in this. I do prefer some to others. I do think it's got a little bit of a better track selection overall compared to FH5. Lakehurst is quite a good one if you ask me. Asmore Heritage, I do find myself enjoying. That Moorhead's a weak one if you ask me. Very boring, but we've got the two Edinburgh ones. Princess Street Gardens, Edinburgh Station was quite fun. Holyrood, good fun. Bamber, again, all good stuff. But there was really no highly technical tracks. There, except for two, before you mention it. Yes, that's why I'm at Ambleside. However, if you anything above like B class, that track was just terrible. This one, if you're anything above A class, that track is just terrible. Because it's all small and really technical, which is fine. I do quite like technical tracks. It's a good challenge. But it really doesn't work if you're in higher speed cars. It just doesn't whatsoever. But, I do find myself enjoying the routes in this game quite a lot. Now, do not get me wrong, there's some routes I like in FH5, but I think now that I've sort of played that game a little bit more and I sort of remember these tracks, I think FH4 definitely had the stronger track selection, especially Lakehurst Copse. Greendale was really good. Foothills as well, I did enjoy. Yeah, you get the memo. I'm actually going to drive down this road now. Yes, so map was just bland, the atmosphere was awful, really boring, and then the roads was just, some were fun, and then a lot of it was just forgettable. Hey, I fixed my left bumper a little bit. Temporarily, I imagine. Oh, hello. Right, I've crashed into that Audi. Now we get into more of the problems. I will talk about the AIs. They're awful. They are really, really bad in this game. From what I remember and from what I experienced with my many hours of playing it, they don't react to you whatsoever. They really don't react to you whatsoever, and it doesn't take much to break them. Now, I know, ever since they brought back the driver tars, but made it more of an integral thing, the AIs have just been broken to no end. They're better than this than FH5, probably because, if I remember correctly, they don't lag around all over the bloody place. But yeah, the AIs in this just were not fun to race against. A lot of the time, they were way too easy. Absolutely just way too easy. Which just ruined the fun of it. And yeah, so AI's not great whatsoever. Another thing that wasn't so great, I mean, yeah, sure, the addition of it was nice, but it was not well executed, was the fact you can create your own route. Now, you know, a lot of people still have the complaints that you should be able to create your route from wherever, which, you know, I do kind of agree. Um, but, you know, you've just got to work with what you've got. And, well, the create route was fine. However, you could not place any walls down. So basically, you just had to make the checkpoint be the guidance. You can't just put walls. You can't put walls places to really make the track a little bit more, to make it better, to, you know, make the breaking points more obvious. So you're not just having to put down checkpoints kind of all over the place just to actually guide the people where you're going, especially if you're doing a bunch of crossover routes. Yeah, you couldn't place walls down whatsoever. And a lot of the times it would break itself. It definitely would have issues trying to make a track actually, well, work. So, you know, you had to do some interesting workarounds to get it to work. Another thing they added was the Super 7, which was quite fun. However, you know, when it released, I said, why isn't this for the races, all these props, you know, walls and whatnot? Why can't we have these for the custom routes? And that was never added. So, you know, you had to wait till FH5 for that to be properly released. Now, you know, all the prop building stuff was fine. I haven't really built Super 7 on this, so I don't know how it is in this game, but judging off FH5, it's got its own issues. However, you know, you can't actually do multiplayer races on them, which is what I wanted to do. You know, I want to do Super 7 stuff and then do multiplayer races on them. However, a lot of the time, it's just, you know, you do challenge. I mean, yeah, sure, you do challenges and whatnot, that's fine. However, I kind of wanted to have a proper circuit going on, but you couldn't do it. I mean, you sort of could-ish, but you'd have to sort of make your own racing challenge within the Super 7 thing, rather than just having to create your own proper route and then, yeah. So there is all that. Not only that, the other thing I'm going to talk about is the Eliminator. I hate it. Mostly because I just do not like Battle Royale. I've never been a fan of Battle Royale, so, you know, that is going to be a very biased opinion of me. I don't like it whatsoever. Whilst, yes, you know, it is... I mean, it does kind of work for Forza, but Horizon, you know, you've got the entire map that's... Well, it's a relatively small map. Obviously, you're driving a bunch of cars for like, different speeds and whatnot, so you can sort of get away... I mean, yeah, sure, you can... It's fine to have a Battle Royale, because, you know, that's a really popular thing. I just never liked it. That's just me being me, to be honest. Nothing really wrong. Nothing really against the Eliminator. I just don't like it. I'll go on to the expansions now. They're terrible. They are really bad. The Fortune Islands, well, yeah, cool. It had a drift route, and I will admit, it did have some pretty sweet off-roading routes. I will give it that. The off-roading routes in that were a lot better. However, the map really just felt like one road. It was designed just for just one road, and then everything else just felt tacked on. Yeah, which was just... It was not a good map, if you ask me. It really did just feel... It kind of just felt the same, of just bland, ordinary. I mean, yeah, sure, you know, the first expansion has always been sort of the smaller map, but there was just nothing really unique about... Yeah, sure, you got treasure chests, but we already had a scavenge hunt type of thing anyway. We already had the barn finds on mainland, so you're just doing that again. And, well, you know, the other thing is that they added the new Trailblazer PR stunt, where you should just do point A to point B, and that was it. And it was just, you know, a cross-country type of thing, which, you know, they were fine, but there was just nothing really... There was nothing really to get excited about with Fortune Island for me. And then Lego Island was just shit. Yeah, sure, you know, oh cool, we have Lego, you know, like Lego Speed Champion cars in there, so you can actually drive them. However, I didn't like the map. The novelty of it being Lego kind of wore off quickly. That might just be because I'm a grumpy sod, but Jesus Christ, hello. Why did the car spawn in there? Yeah, the novelty of it being Lego just kind of went away really quickly, because there was, yeah, sure, you had challenges to then, you know, you had challenges to basically get bricks so that you could, there was a little bit of progression in that, so you just upgraded your house a little bit. So, you know, there was some progression in it. It was very basic progression. There was no real sense of it, but not compared to FH1 or to the extent of FH3. Yeah, that was the other big issue with Horizon 4. Progression, there was none. There's no progression in this game whatsoever. I'm not going to include, oh, you know, if you level up enough, you might, you know, you might unlock a few new tracks. Yeah, cool. Oh, shit. I've nearly rolled a tractor. You unlock a few new tracks when you progress through the game. Yeah, cool. And you unlock more PR stunts. But you don't do anything with the festival. Oh, sorry, not PR. Well, PR stunts. The only thing that is sort of festival-ish is the showcase events. That's it. You don't upgrade the festival in any way, shape, or form. The houses didn't really add much. They basically got rid of the perk points. They sort of got rid of it in a way. They sort of gave it to the cars, and then you got different things for buying the house. But it just didn't do anything. I just preferred getting skill points to then have just a general boost overall, and then if they had a car specific skill points tree, and along with it, then yeah, cool, that would have been much better, rather than just car skill points, that's it. Yeah, so the houses just felt tacked on just to try and get you, you know, just to spend some more credits on. Because the other thing about it was money was a piece of piss to get in this game. It was really a piece of piss. I had no issues with it whatsoever. I think like a 5-minute race netted me about like 70,000 credits. If not more, probably closer to about 100,000 for like a 5-minute race. Yeah, it was not hard whatsoever to make money. So yeah, progression, terrible. What else was it? Well, I suppose really I should talk about the multiplayer. You know, I've put it off for long enough. Oh, wow. Oh, crap. You know, I've put it off for long enough. No, I'm not going to be able to get through that gap. It's not in Porsche. Yeah, now do not get me wrong. When FH4 launched, it actually did work. You know, I will admit that. The servers actually worked pretty damn fine. We managed to do a bunch of bowls of community. Well, we managed to do a bunch of, yeah, like the versus community group 2. I managed to partake in a fair few of those versus communities, and to be honest, it actually went pretty damn smoothly for a lot of the beginning stuff earlier on. But when they started updating the game, the quality went down big time. That was when the real issues started to show in FH5. Updates murdered this game. And they really, really did. We had so many connection problems trying to get things set up. I remember one of the Bowser communities that we did was meant to be on Fortune Island. However, we had so many connection issues that 2 hours later, we gave up on Fortune Island and just went back to the mainland. It took us that long. That was one of the videos where I didn't even mute the party. Because we were that frustrated, we were that worn out, that we just did that one championship, and then that was it. We just went off FH4, because it took us 2 hours to get a game to set up properly. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, FH5 will still be worse, but this was not great whatsoever. Like I said, many connection problems, and not only that, I've managed to crash this game so many times. Now, I didn't have the same amount of bugs as I did in FH5. FH5 was a buggy pile of shit. I didn't have as many in FH4. Yeah, you know, I might have the occasional graphics bug or sound. Well, I mean, to be honest, even that, sound bugs weren't really very common in it. FH5 was extremely common. I still get them now, to be honest. And yeah, so there weren't really bugs in it. The main issue was that this game crashed for me so often. It was so often this game crashed. I crashed the game on Fortune Island by actually just accelerating. By doing a little bit of wheel spin, the game crashed. I got into a loading lock when I paused the game. I crashed it by pausing the game. I crashed it by deleting messages. It crashed halfway through a race. Yeah, it crashed so often. And I'd never disconnect from Xbox Live. It wasn't because of that. It just crashed so often. FH5, it crashes. It did crash, but not as much. That was just more buggy though. So it really did feel that the quality of the game just went down more and more as the game got more and more updates. And a lot of the updates weren't even that good. Like I said, Super 7, it was fun for a while, you know, you could have pretty fun challenges, but then I just got bored of it. I didn't get bored of it really quickly. It's not because, you know, people weren't creating fantastic stuff. That's completely false. There was some really good stuff, you know, people doing amazing stuff with the time trials and whatnot. However, I just wasn't a huge fan of the physics of it. You know, a lot of the challenges kind of got ruined, and that's the main thing with FH4, is that it's just bland. There's just nothing, there's no sense of I want to do this. We've got the Horizon backstage, which is just there. You know, you do challenges, you get one pass, and then you just buy a car. You just basically use that to unlock a car. Yay, cool. I mean, to be honest, at this point, I could just go in the auction house. I mean, yeah, sure, I've got 120 odd million, so I could buy whatever the hell I want. But you know, the backstage pass is just a thing. You voted for a car, and then eventually it would appear in that, and then if you had a backstage pass, you can then just get that car. So it did not feel expansive whatsoever. Whilst I do remember, I'll go into customization. Obviously, you know, you have more wide bodies in this. A fair few cars did have a little bit more customization. You know, a few more cars had wide bodies. But it still was pretty lackluster in this. It was still a fairly lackluster customization. So, you know, there was just more sort of typical Xbox One era Forza of you can't really customize the cars a lot, so there is that. Yeah, so that's FH4. If you've not played it, you can if you really want to. I would say at this point just avoid. So yeah, I'm gonna call it there for video. I do hope you all enjoy. All feedback is appreciated. If you have your own comments about FH4, you know, feel free, leave that in the feel free, comment all that good stuff. If you want to join my Discord, there'll be a link in the description where you get to say hello to me and, you know, basically tell me that I'm either like you agree with this or or you think I'm just full of shit. Up to you. However, that's gonna be it from me. Take care and ciao for now.